actually not how I got A star in psychology, how I got predicted A and A star in psychology because my exams were cancelled.
Hi everyone, I am just going to do a video on exactly how to get A and A star in psychology. Well, how I got A and A star in psychology, because nothing is guaranteed, unfortunately, and actually not how I got A star in psychology, how I got predicted A and A star in psychology because my exams were cancelled. Yes, I probably will say this in every video because I am that mad, for that, like, shocked, because exams were not cancelled since 1888 and I am witnessing exams being cancelled, and it feels like a unique experience. Anyway, so if you want to learn about, if you are in year 11 or year 12, or if you're in year 11, or if you don't do psychology and want to know what is psychology, I made a very, very detailed video on what exactly psychology A level is about, AQA, and you really should watch it because it's a good one. And I really appreciate if you like it and subscribe, because if you haven't, then it's okay. But anyway, so watch the video because, yeah, it's a good one. And so, the first thing I'm going to say is that there is a lot of content, and what you have to do, I would say, is really be organised, because I was organised for the first year, and in the second year I started to slack and it didn't end well. There was paper everywhere in my room and I lost stuff and I got told off a lot for it, and yeah. So this is year 1, just year 1, simply just year 1. And what I did was basically, okay, so I had different sub-chapters and I made notes on all of them. Oh my gosh, just looking at it, I'm just, yeah, I never got to use it. Okay, I need to stop complaining, because I don't have exams and I should be happy. So, how I'm going to structure the video, I'm going to talk about things you need to know for the exam and just some general tips. So first off, let's just talk about things you need to know. So what you need to know is, just grab my notes, content number 1, and number 2, exam technique. That's basically all you need to know for the whole A level is content and exam technique. But I think that's for everything, right? Psychology is relatively straightforward, so you don't exactly need to understand things to get top grades. You just need to remember things, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe it might be a good thing. So how do you revise content? There is so much stuff. So as you may know, if you're doing psychology, you have AO1 and AO3, and AO3 is all about evaluation points, and AO1 is all about content. So first off is that you need to get a revision guide, because it's going to help you a lot. And the textbook, they give you a lot of rambling, just unnecessary content, and like they put jokes in the middle. To be honest, I hate them, because like, why do you need jokes when like all you want is specific, straightforward content, right? And so I really recommend the revision guide for year 1, and this is year 2 and year 2, and I've linked them below because I'm trying to help you guys out, and then you guys can help me out, but yeah. So that is that, and basically what they do is, so AO3 is on this side, and then AO1 is on this side.
Basically all you need to do is basically remember it.
So, yeah, let's go back. How do you remember so much stuff? So for AO1 points, what helped me the most is visualize everything. So what I did for everything from year 1 to year 2 is that I drew everything, and well, for year 1 I was so dumb. I don't want to say so dumb, but it actually helped. Like, I drew everything for year 1 content into like pictures, and I stuck them all over my room, and basically when I revised I would say the content, look at the photos, look at the drawings, and just put them together in my mind. And every time I wanted to remember something, I had to look at the drawing. So in my exam, this actually happens. Of course it happened, like, it's so effective. But basically in my exam, my mock exams, I was saying, and I didn't remember anything. I just remember I just remember the drawings in my head. And I remember because I remember the drawings in my head, it acted as like cues, which you might know in from memory topic. It acted as cues, and that triggered. Okay, sorry, that's just background noise. And it triggered memory of the words. And so that is exactly how I revised all the AO1 points, and I would say that it's so effective. I mean, for me, because I guess it does depend on what type of learner you are. And this is my wall of psychology, basically. Oh gosh. forgot to say, how did I change in year 2? So as you saw, year 1 was all those really big posters that took me ages, and that just, yeah, it doesn't even look that good, to be honest. But I realized that I could go digital. Like, I had an iPad all along, but I never used it. And once I changed to digital, I saved time, I saved paper, I saved buying coloured pens and stuff, and it looks so cute. Not cute, but yeah. So basically what I did is I used my iPad and my iPad pen, and I downloaded the app GoodNotes, not sponsored obviously, and then I basically did all my notes online. And the good thing is, basically, so I did all my notes. Trying to find some that looked good. Yeah, so like, so basically I did that for the rest of year 2 notes. So my year 1 notes were paper and my year 2 notes were all on my iPad, and I just love it. So if you do have the I guess resources to go digital, I would recommend that, because if you're messy like me, I lose my notes everywhere, and like I said, that I was not organised in year 2 and I kept losing my notes, but when I went digital, I never lose them. So yep, I just wanted to say that. And if you're interested in, if you want my notes, then I can share them to you, but you have to DM me on Insta and subscribe and like. And yes, back to AO3 points. AO3 points, basically, you have to make sure that you know research methods and issues and debates really well, because they help you so much, because you can basically kind of, it's not really recommended, but if you have no choice, then use research methods and critique the study. The key study, you might want to critique the validity of the research method, how reliable it is it valid over time, temporal validity, does it apply to real life, ecological validity. And one thing you have to always make sure, and I'm talking about essays here, is that you have to link it back to the question. So every time when you've finished an AO3 point, always say, how does your AO3 point affect what is asked, what the question is about? Is the question about whole theory? Is the question about specific concept? How does it affect that thing that the examiner is asking? Put yourself in the examiner's shoes and think, like, is this student answering the question? Always think that you're an examiner yourself and you're writing like a perfect answer in your head. And yes, so common ones, issues and debates, research methods. Now, one thing I wish I did that I didn't do is create well, I did do, but it was the last month of the exam, so I didn't really do much. Basically, is make a Word document, and I will show you what I did, actually. Let me show you what I did. So as you can see, I basically started really late and I didn't do much at all. Yeah, I just did like that. Yeah, I actually did nothing. But like, I wish I did it. So basically, I wrote all the content, and then an IDA point is basically an issues and debate point, and then an IEL is basically our teacher told us to do IEL. So I is identify, E is explain, and L is link. So link it back to the question. So basically, for example, neural explanations for aggression, Berman et al. Study was unethical, and this is basically an IDA point because it touches research methods, and then why, because it gives electric shocks to real people. And hormonal explanations for aggression, Dolan's study, basically 60 men, so it's not representative, and it is androcentric. So if you want this, I can send it to you or I can attach it below if you just comment, and I will do that. So another way you can remember AO3 psychology points is basically, so you have there are 5 AO3 points, but I would say that for each essay, 16 marker, you would need around 4 AO3 points, and then the fifth one you can just use a quick we call it IDA points, so issue and debates or approaches points. So you basically talk about what approach they used and if there are other better approaches and issues and debates and research methods. So these are like the general ones. You can just slip in one if you remember 4 good ones, and you can just slip in one, or if you remember 3 good ones, you can slip in one. And yeah, so basically another way to remember AO3 points is just remember a small phrase of each point and then put it together in a slide, draw a few drawings, and just stick it somewhere where you remember, where you can always see. Basically, for example, for gender bias, sorry, that was, yeah, my camera just nearly dropped. Where was I? Okay, so for gender bias. So how to, for example, I'm just using an example, gender bias. Basically, yeah, you choose short phrases. So it would be, for gender bias, it would be a lack of opportunity for women. That's number 1. Number 2 is reflexivity. Number 3 would be lack of women in senior research level. And number 4, it would be essentialist arguments. Okay, so if I remember these 4 short phrases after revising them after revising the whole thing, and just keep these 4 in my mind throughout the year, then you would kind of just remember the longer stuff, if that makes sense. It's just making sure that you remember the short things throughout the year, and then when you go back to look at the longer phrases, it makes it so much easier to stick. So that is how I remembered AO3 points, basically. Now let's go to exam technique. So exam technique is so I decided that I am going to split the video in 2 because it's basically just going to take extra long to upload it, and yeah. So basically, don't forget to like and subscribe and watch part 2. I don't know if it's going to be there, or it's on my channel, so go check it out now. And